has alluded that there might be a Pakistani hand behind the derailment of the train from Kanpur that led to the deaths of 150 people just last month. Now this is based, we understand, on a statement that the Bihar police has received from one of the people who was accused and detained as part of a sabotage theory which was being probed by the Bihar police. Now whether this can be substantiated with further physical proof or not is yet to be seen, but clearly the investigators have now been pointed Sarhad Par. They have been pointed to look beyond the border for the real plotters behind this devastating train accident. Well, more than an accident now. Pranesh, my colleague, joining us on the broadcast. Pranesh, this is shocking.
Absolutely shocking developments being broken first on NewsX. Rishabh, Motihari police in Bihar have arrested 3 people, and they are basing this information on the statements that they have received from these 3 people who've said that one of the arrested, Moti Paswan, has in fact confessed that they were paid by ISI agents based
That's
in
big
Nepal.
news. Pranesh, stay with me on Patna, from Patna. Sham, my colleague, joining us. Sham, what's the details? What's been said?
Well, it's being said that the Motihari police today arrested 3 criminals in connection with the murder of 2 people. It's being said that the 2 criminals were murdered in Nepal. Now, there's a confusing thing because it's being said that the 2 persons who were murdered were given a task of planting IED at the railway track at Ghorasahan, which was recovered on 1st October. Now, since these 2 people could not plant the IED properly, they were murdered at the behest of ISI by these 3 people who have been arrested by the Motihari police. And in this arrest, they have confessed that they were paid by some ISI agents based in Dubai and in Nepal to plant IEDs at tracks at various places. And now one of them has also confused that they are behind the Kanpur rail accident also. But it has to be seen, because the railway inquiry is still on, whether there were any explosive materials found from the Kanpur railway tracks or not, or whether the tracks were damaged. Now it has to be seen whether the railway has to now come out with a clarification whether the tracks were damaged, and if it was damaged, was they damaged by some other forces from outside. Now it has to be seen whether these people were behind that, because they have confessed as of now, but the Motihari police clearly saying that they are now investigating into everything. They are cross-questioning these people as to whether whether they are really speaking the truth, or they are trying to divert attention of the police. So this is one thing which has been coming out from Motihari after the arrest of these 3 criminals.
Okay, more than 150 people died. It's a very serious matter, Shyam. It's a very serious matter. Perhaps cannot be restricted itself to the Motihari police anymore. Do we have any inclination, Shyam, whether this inquiry will go beyond the railways, beyond the cops, perhaps head the NIA way?
Well, absolutely. A team of the ATS of the Bihar police have left for Motihari. They've left Patna just now. They'll be questioning these.
Okay, hang on, Shyam. Every single line that you're telling me is breaking information we're going to put out on your screens. You're saying an anti-terror squad, an ATS team of the Bihar police from Patna has now been moved to Motihari to assist the police, which means that they're taking this very seriously, Shyam.
Well, absolutely, because the way these people have confessed and revealed that how they received money from a few ISI agents based in Nepal. And remember, Motihari is just the Raksol in Motihari is the bordering state with is a border with Nepal, where we have seen even in the past a number of hardcore terrorists have been arrested from there by IB, by NIA. You remember, it is a very soft place for these ISI operators there, because they take the very safe route from Raksol. So definitely the IB and all security agencies always keep a trap on this area, because the border there is said to be very porous. So now after this arrest and the confession of these criminals, every security agency is taking it seriously, and investigation from all angles definitely will be done.
Okay, what do we know? What do we know fundamentally, Shyam? Because when the train tragedy took place, subsequently we had heard the railway minister suggesting that sabotage was not being ruled out at that particular stage. Several railway authorities had also mentioned that. Remind our viewers exactly what happened and where the investigation had gotten until this big breakthrough. Shyam.
Well, yes, after the Kanpur accident, we had seen how various voices from different quarters were coming about sabotage. Many people questioning the sabotage angle also. And let me tell you also that IED were recovered from Khorasahan, which is in Motihari, on the 1st of October 2016. These IEDs were recovered from a railway track near the Khorasahan railway station, which is in Motihari district of Bihar. Now, these criminals clearly confessed that they had planted the IED at Khorasahan railway tracks on the 1st of October, which could not, because of they could not plant it properly. That is why the blast could not take place. Now, one of them even confessed that their hand was behind the Kanpur accident. So now, investigation has to be done, and security agencies will definitely be inquiring to everything, whether any explosive materials were found from Kanpur or not, whether there was damage to the track or not, and if there was damage, was it an external damage done by someone else? So if that inquiry is being done, and then these criminals who have been arrested are cross-questioned, and if
okay, Shyam, just stay with me. Let's get another perspective. Nikunj Garg, our internal security editor, joining us on the broadcast as well. Nikunj, as of now, this is just a claim which has been made by 3 suspected park agents who were apprehended by the Bihar police. But I understand the Bihar ATS has taken up the matter. What more information can you share, if any, Nikunj?
Well, Rishabh, this certainly, as of now, is a fairly startling claim, and the claim, at least the Bihar police, I'm quite sure, has done enough verification at their own level to make this kind of claim public too, because it's a fairly startling claim, and there are, as of now, at least empirical evidence suggests little basis for these claims. Because if one goes by the evidence that was collected, there was no mention of IED. And remember, the case already stands transferred to the Central Bureau of Investigation because Uttar Pradesh was suspecting some kind of sabotage. So they had already recommended a CBI probe. And in that CBI probe also, so far at least no indications of a sabotage have come forward. A willful sabotage, or rather planting of IEDs, then would take it to another level. Nonetheless, these are claims and these need to be verified.
Okay.
And I'm quite sure that the preliminary verification has been done by the Bihar police. And according to me, they have also informed the central agencies. And I'm suspecting that by tonight or tomorrow, you will have the teams of the National Investigative Agency and other concerned agencies also landing in Motihari. Bihar.
Okay. So we're going to wait for you to confirm that also, Nikunj. But just stay with me, Nikunj, just for a second, because as you can inform our viewers, Nikunj, when the Pathankot attack took place, also simultaneously an attempt to sabotage rail lines nearby was also discovered. So if this is indeed a plot to target the rail services by disrupting the rail lines, it's been tried before.
Yes, Rishabh, it is not for the first time that the railways infrastructure, railway stations, or the moving trains have been targeted by the park-based park-back terrorists in this country. And railways, of course, have a very large infrastructure. There have been in the past also railway stations being bombed in this country. We have seen instances of railway platform being bombed, by planting IEDs on them. It was a fairly popular modus operandi during the initial days of Punjab Sikh terrorism also. So in that sense, it's a known modus operandi that ISI has been employing, obviously keeping in mind the large and, of that large, a very large chunk, of railway infrastructure which is not properly guarded or cannot be properly guarded because of its sheer size. So in that sense, they have a ready and lucrative target there. Large number of people do congregate on railway infrastructure, be it trains, be it railway stations, etc., etc. But nonetheless, coming back to this claim, I would say that, right now it's a claim, but a claim that needs serious probe. And I'm quite sure that clearly the Uttar Pradesh state government was also, and railways were also suspecting some sabotage, and that's why the case was, to begin with, transferred to the Central Bureau of Investigation. And now, if these claims are to be found true, then it clearly adds a new dimension of threat levels to the entire infrastructural systems of transport systems that run in this country, and we need to take serious note of it.
Okay, Nikunj, just stay with me. Brigadier Mahalingam joining us on the broadcast as well. Brigadier Mahalingam, we are in the preliminary stages of confirming this information as per the details of the investigation that we do get. But here's what we know right now, that the Bihar police have gone public with this, which means that they are assured, at least at their level, that they have done their due diligence and they're not making a sensational claim, that they have enough to go on. The Bihar ATS, which is the anti-terror squad, has already been rushed to the location where these three park agents who have confessed to this are being held. Nikunj is telling us the central agencies are already briefed on the matter, are likely to be roped in at an early stage, perhaps as early as tonight. What would be the things to look out for in the investigation to prove the hand of a saboteur, sir?
First of all, as far as the NIA is concerned, when they get into the job, the first thing that they will have to do is to interrogate the individuals to find out the veracity of the entire issue. Secondly, having said that, this accident took place quite some time back, and whatever evidences that one could find out on the ground, I think most of them would have vanished. Nevertheless, there still would be some clues which the NIA, I'm sure, with their expertise and knowledge and experience, would go into the details and be able to unearth some of the evidences if this claim is true. But nevertheless, what is most important is this, first of all, whether the Bihar police's claim and their investigations which have brought about this particular sensational news is correct or not. If that
For Brigadier Malingam, because we did not in the preliminary stage when this derailment happened, and I'm using the word derailment because we can't in the time being use the word accident because this might be sabotage. When the derailment happened, Brigadier Malingam, we were not at that point of time told of any explosion that took place. Now we do know that in Pathankot, when the terrorists attacked the army camp, another terror party, perhaps the same terror party, had also planted explosives on the railway lines, but however they were discovered by an alert railway party. In this case, there were no reports of an explosion. There would be presumably other effective ways of sabotaging a track also, sir.
Absolutely. The point is that if this particular thing had happened, I'm sure the police would have been roped in initially at the time of the accident to get onto the job and to see on the site what are the reasons or what are the logic behind that particular accident. The very fact that they have not so far come out and told anything about any explosives or other means to remove the part of railway line, which would only cause such an accident, it raises a sort of a doubt. That is the reason why I sort of said that there is a need to get the confirmation of the Bihar police's claim, as also how they came into this particular sort of a conclusion. And secondly, there is a need to interrogate the ISI agents who is supposed to have confessed to this particular claim so that one is quite clear as to why this particular thing happened. We should not come to any sort of a preliminary or a sort of a conclusion without these evidences proving.
Okay, Brigadier, stay with me. Brigadier, stay with me. Let me go quickly back to Shyam. Shyam, let's put together the pieces as we know them, the facts that you know, some of the facts that are already in the public domain. Now, when the derailment happened, Shyam, we were not told of any explosion, am I right?
Yes, it was absolutely no derailment was talked about when this Kanpur incident happened. But yes, few people were questioning and had raised the sabotage angle. But let me again remind you that IEDs were recovered from the railway track near Ghorasahan, which is in Motihari. Now, it was said that these IEDs were planted by two people who were apparently murdered by these three people at the behest of their agents in Kanpur so that all witnesses could be brushed off. Now, this is being said that when these three criminals were arrested while police was investigating that murder case, these three people are confessed that they were acting as agents of few people based in Nepal, and probably they were ISI agents who would send them money to do all these things. Even explosives were sent to them from Nepal. And now they said that apart from planting IEDs at the Ghorasahan, which was recovered by the police, they even confessed that they were behind the Kanpur train accident.
Okay, so hang on. Let me just put this and recap this very carefully, and we're going to put this out on your screen step by step what Shyam has just narrated, because that is the depth of the authentic information we have at this stage. What Shyam, my colleague in Patna, has just told us, that a case of IEDs which were planted but were discovered, therefore an attack was averted. The two Pakistani agents who were behind the planting of the two IEDs were killed by three other agents operating within India but on the payroll of the ISI. They were killed, I presume, from what Shyam is telling us, for the failure to carry out the plot as well as to ensure that there would be no linkage back to the ISI once the plot was discovered and the IEDs were discovered. Now, when the investigation was being conducted into the murder of these two ISI agents, 3 people have been arrested. One of these 3 people, perhaps all 3, but at least one of these 3 people has said that not only were they behind the killings and why they were behind the killings of the men who planted the IEDs, but has also confessed that it wasn't just the one IED planting, but also the sabotage that led to the derailment of the Kanpur Express that killed more than 150 people. Now, this is what they have said. This is what the Bihar police have recorded. What Shyam is telling us that the Bihar ATS is now heading its way on to the local police station. Shyam, I presume that these 3 people are being held there.
These 3 people have been arrested by the Motihari police. The Motihari SP, Jitendra Rana, had now spoken to the media. He brought them, these 3 criminals, before the media there also. And these 3 criminals are now with the Motihari police there. Meanwhile, the ATS from Patna...
Okay, Shyam, just stay with me. We're having a problem with the audio line. I'll request you to disconnect and we'll ask our team to patch you through once again. But this is in effect what has happened. Now, an ATS team, as I mentioned, is heading to Motihari where these 3 accused are being kept. There is a potential, of course, that they could be transferred or brought under the investigation of the CBI, which is already handling this case. It is not a leap of imagination to presume that the Bihar government at an early stage had handed over the case investigation to the CBI principally because something suspicious was found. The railway minister in public had about 2 weeks ago come out and suggested that sabotage as an angle was not being ruled out. We're going to pull out that bite of the soundbite rather of the railway minister coming out and speaking out 2 weeks ago, in which he had said that if it was sabotage, then it was a horrific incident and a horrific attack that had taken place. Shyam is back with me. Now, Shyam, these 3 individuals who have been arrested currently are in the custody of the Motihari police. The ATS is heading that way. Do we have any information yet on where these people are from? Are they locals under the pay of the ISI, or have they been smuggled in from Nepal?
No, well, as of now, what is coming is that these 3 people are from the same district. They are from Motihari, and since Motihari is bordering Nepal, the Raxaul city of Motihari is bordering Nepal, and since it's a porous border, so we've seen even in the past how criminals from this side go and do criminal activity in Viratnagar, in Birgaj of Nepal, and they come back to Motihari, and we've even seen how big criminals of Bihar have been arrested from that side of the border. Now, since it's a very porous border, they very easily slip into Nepal. So we've seen that how these activities have been taking place. This is nothing new for Nepal, for Motihari and for Raxaul. Now, these 3 criminals are said to be from Motihari who've been arrested, and they are in the custody of now Motihari police. The Motihari police is further questioning them. Now, it's being said that even central agencies will be questioning them. Now, let me tell you, the central agencies have representatives in Raxaul, especially because they keep on operating from Raxaul, because Raxaul has always been on the top list of ISI agents. ISI agents often come into India from Raxaul. Now, Raxaul is one border which has always been on high alert, be it in any case, and national agencies always keep an eye on the Raxaul border. So now, meanwhile, these 3 criminals will be further questioned. Now, it has to be seen whether central agencies even ask for the custody or ask the Motihari police to allow them to question these criminals, these 3 criminals. And after these 3 criminals are further questioned by ATS, by central agencies, now more things are likely to come out from them.
Out from there, once the questioning is, of course, taken at an advanced stage by more senior investigative agencies. But Shyam, the fact that the Bihar police, at least from the people that you've been speaking to, have decided that it is now time to go public with this information, it would indicate that they seem at least convinced that from their point of view of them having conducted the investigation, that the confession itself is bona fide.
Well, absolutely, because these 3 criminals, after the arrest and after the interrogation, have confessed all these things before the Motihari police. Now, they have even said that how funds were coming in from Dubai and from Nepal into the accounts. Now, meanwhile, even that angle will be investigated or must have been investigated by the Motihari police, and then only they must have come forward with these witnesses and with these evidences, and they must have stated that how these people were behind the Kanpur and the Khorasan IED recovery. So definitely Bihar police or the Motihari and the Motihari police must have done all the homework, their investigation before
Okay,
coming
just
to
to cover all fronts, Shyam Sundar, for the viewing public, when the accident took place, there were of course several analogies of what could have gone wrong, because the train driver, Shyam, as we recall, had been injured but had survived the accident. At the very beginning, what were the other possible avenues which were being investigated, and what had the train driver at that point of time said, Shyam?
Well, absolutely. The train driver clearly has said that it was a derailment. Now, he clearly said that the speed of the train was high and emergency brakes were applied. Now, meanwhile, the railway inquiry has to reveal whether there was some damage to the tracks or whether there was sabotage, and why did the driver had to apply emergency brakes, because the driver clearly has said that emergency brakes were applied, and as a result, this derailment was caused. Now, meanwhile, when these criminals have now confessed that they were behind the Kanpur rail accident, now definitely it means that some sabotage was behind that, and as a result, this accident had taken place in Kanpur, in which many lives were lost. Now, meanwhile, definitely these criminals, when they say that they were behind the Kanpur blast, which definitely means that there was some sabotage, and now the train driver needs to be questioned again, because at that time he clearly said that the trains were a high.
Okay. How many agencies are involved in this probe right now? Because we know, of course, the Bihar ATS has been roped in. It will be the Motihari police, presumably the Patna police also. There would be the UP police involved in this investigation. We understand the CBI has also been roped in.
Well, absolutely. Apart from CBI and the Kanpur police, because the accident had taken place in Kanpur, even central agencies like the NIA would definitely be involved in this questioning, and they would be questioning these criminals who have been arrested, because the Motihari police has questioned these criminals, they have arrested these criminals. Now, Bihar ATS is also, the officers of Bihar ATS have also left for Motihari. So definitely central agencies like the NIA, the CBI, and apart from that, because since the accident took place in Kanpur.
Okay, Shyam, thank you. Just stay with me, Shyam. Just stay with me. General B. G.D. Bakshi joining us on the broadcast also. General B. G.D. Bakshi, we are proceeding with caution, sir, because even though we can't put this beyond Pakistan, we are trying to get our ducks in a row to get the facts straight. What we've understood, General G.D. Bakshi, and to recap for you and our viewers, is that 3 arrests have been made by the Motihari police. The Motihari is a district, of course, for our viewers in Bihar, which borders Nepal. Now, these 3 people were arrested for the murder of 2 others. These 2 others are believed to have been the culprits behind the planting of 2 improvised explosive devices on a separate rail track, which were discovered before they could cause an explosion or an accident. Now, these 3 people have confessed allegedly to the Bihar police in Motihari that they killed the other 2 on the payroll of the ISI to ensure that there was no link from that IED discovery back to Pakistan. They in turn have also claimed that it wasn't just the IED planting, but they were also behind the derailment of the Kanpur Express. Now, we can't put it behind Pakistan, but at this stage, General G.D. Bakshi, what would you be expecting the central agencies to first investigate?
Look, this is not a claim that we can take lightly. And I think there is a need for a thorough investigation and probe. And very frankly, I wouldn't be too surprised if this was true. The Pakistani ISI has been trying to vary tactics, trying to impose mass casualties. And if they have succeeded quietly, I don't think this is something that we should be rather keen to push under the carpet and not take Pakistan to task. We can't accept this. We can't accept our trains being blown every second, third day. We can't accept the mass murder of our people.
Okay, I'm just trying to put things into context, General G.D. Bakshi, from what information we already have. As you would recall, sir, I was making this point with Nikunj a bit earlier, that when the Pathankot attack had taken place, a similar attempt to put explosives, strap explosives to train tracks was discovered at that point of time also, sir. There is a pattern here which cannot be ignored either.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm saying that from my limited knowledge, my fairly long experience of combating terrorism, they have been trying to do this for some time. And I will just not put it past the Pakistani ISI. Here is something that gives them deniability, and yet they can inflict mass casualties on our people, large-scale casualties. And if they have actually tried to do this, I think there is a need to take Pakistan to task severely.
Okay, what would be the smoking gun to look out for here, sir? Because the IEDs were discovered, but were discovered on a separate rail track that was meant to be a different kind of an attack. In this case, from what we knew and what the reporting we did on the ground at the very point, there was no explosion. So if there was sabotage, the sabotage was probably restricted to the rail carriage or the rail tracks themselves. What would be the smoking gun to look out for here?
You know, the smoking gun to look out for here would be the disruption caused to the rail tracks in terms of sabotage of the railway tracks. That is the easiest way to cause train accidents and derail and not leave a trail behind. That's number one. If IEDs were used, we should even now look for traces of those explosives. After all, they generally use ammonium nitrate and other chemicals. That entire section of the rail on which the blast took place needs to be examined thoroughly, even though it's now rather late. But even at this belated stage, we could check it out, possibly even use explosive sniffer dog, etc., to try and trace out if there are any traces of the IED, any wires left behind which were used to detonate this, any fuses, any fragments of explosives, etc., what kind of an explosive. Definitely that needs to be thoroughly checked. We should do a thorough and proper inquiry. We should take these people to recreate the scene of the crime. I mean, to sort of recreate that and sort of...
Now
take
what
us to the
agency,
exact
sir?
spot.
Because this is a multi-agency event as it is. The UP police is involved, the Bihar police is involved. We understand the CBI is already involved. The ATS from Patna is also involved now. At some stage, I'm being told, perhaps as early as tonight, if not tomorrow morning, the NIA will be involved. Who will have to do this recreation to find the hard evidence, sir?
The NIA has to be involved, and I'm sure if these people are now cooperating, they can be taken to the exact spots. The zone of search can be limited, and we can definitely pick out evidence. Or what they are saying is true, definitely the evidence can be collated. But like I said, I would just not put it past the Pakistani ISI to attempt this. We have earlier saved trains in Pathankot. But the fact of the matter is, if we let Pakistan get away with these kind of attempts and wait till a train actually blows up in our faces and kill hundreds and thousands of people, well, I think then we are being rather foolish.
Okay.
I think we need to take proactive measures. We
Okay,
can't
how
accept
much,
this.
how much will the reliance, sir, on intelligence will be now to draw the links, the rather complicated links that are being emerged from this confession that has come out of Bihar?
Look, we have something to start with. If these people are cooperating, they, like I said, they can be taken to the exact spot where they carried this out, the sabotage, or used explosives or whatever it is that they are trying to build their narrative on. That narrative can be thoroughly checked. Okay. Then we can trace back. We can look back for communications. If they have been communicating on email, on mobile, those could be thoroughly screened to deduce evidence.
Okay, so with care, with caution. But given the fact that the Bihar police has decided to go public, is indicative that at least they are convinced that what confession they've got is bona fide, at least to some extent, is not just a boast. Let alone it's so serious that it cannot just be cannot be ignored and has to be investigated to the tallest possible order. General G.D. Bakshi, my colleague Shyam, for bringing us the details and perspective of what is happening. Thank you.